Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering? If the answer is yes, then you're ready.
Someone explained to me why there are so many people who go to the ends of the earth to defend famous men that have been accused of being sexual offenders. I hate the word accused because honestly, I think 9 times out of 10, these women and sometimes men are telling the truth. But because these men are famous, they just get a pass. Innocent until proven guilty, right? How do you prove that? Believe the survivors of this abuse. Like, some of these men have 4 or 5 accusers and they still stand up for them. Like, I'm sorry, but get a fucking life. And if this triggers you, me asking, ask yourself why you're offended. Believe survivors.
I mean, considering that only 4.5% of SA allegations are false, I think it's safe to say that the likelihood of that woman lying about her claims is extremely slim. Not impossible, but extremely slim. I think a lot of people are quick to defend Kobe Bryant because of how, legendary of a basketball player he was. But the people who are defending him, they're just fans. They don't know him as a person. And the consequences of lying about an SA claim are really serious. And not only that, but this lady coming out and accusing Kobe of doing that to her became the target of, harassment and hate from the people who support Kobe. It wouldn't be worth it for her to lie about that. I know a lot of people like Kobe, but this isn't about his athletic ability.
So I was scrolling through YouTube this morning and I saw this. The Jordan Peterson destroys Me Too's Believe All Women narrative. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't watch it. I did not watch it. I see people like Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro in the same league. Their content erodes your brain cells and they make the absolute weakest arguments and sit there smugly, and if you challenge them in any way, they just strawman their way out of it. Backlash against the Believe All Women statement isn't new. It's happened since its creation, and it's definitely gotten worse since the Johnny Depp case, where Amber Heard very obviously lied about being in DV. But when I listen to people talk about the reason why they don't support it or why they absolutely hate that statement, they fail to realize the consequence of not believing victims when they come forward and they say, oh, this has happened to me. And it hits me quite personally. My mom was in domestic violence for almost 2 decades. And at the end of her marriage, when we were able to escape that situation, her life was being threatened. She was fearing that she one day wasn't going to be there because of it. There were people that told her that she was making it up. There were people that didn't believe her. And thankfully, in her coworkers, she had a support system that said, hey, the shit that's happening to you isn't normal. You need to get out of there for your safety and for your children's safety. What do you think would have happened if she stayed in that situation? Especially victims of domestic violence, when you are very likely to be killed by your partner. And I still don't understand the backlash towards that statement, because to me it's always been about supporting people that have been victims. I don't give a fuck if somebody's lying, because if they aren't, which is most of the time, they are in danger. You need to get them out of that situation. You need to separate them from the person that they claim is hurting them, or else they could fucking die.
Those men that are super concerned about being falsely accused. Anytime SA is mentioned, they start talking about false allegations. It's reactionary for them, almost like it triggers something, like fight or flight, I don't know. But if you just let them keep talking, I don't think they need to worry about allegations being false.
If you're saying to me that Believe All Women does not mean Believe All Women, then you're a fucking moron. Tara Reid has more evidence than Christine Blasey Ford. And that's not even evidence of whether you should believe them or not. The fact that they're making that allegation is more than enough. You should trust them, because Why would they want to put themselves in public scrutiny? What amount of money could possibly move them to go up in front of 300 million people who are literally, half of them are going to say that you're a fucking liar? That is not, like, the amount of harassment, the amount of abuse, the amount of life threats that they would have to endure, and you think it's some kind of, like, partisan trick? Like, either you're a clown or you're not. That's my stance on the fucking issue, and that's the motherfucking tea.
One of the most demoralizing aspects of experiencing life as a woman is finding so incredibly, depressingly often that the men in our life will bend over backwards to defend a male stranger rather than just listen to us. If we come to a man in our life, not a stranger, a man who's a friend, who's family, a partner, coworker, whatever it may be, and tell them about an experience that we've had with a man who is a stranger to us, is a stranger to them, and they assaulted us, they harassed us, they just gave us bad vibes and made us feel uncomfortable. And when we tell the men in our life about those stories, they don't believe us. They immediately start looking for ways that we interpreted the situation wrong and actually that man is a good guy, when they don't know the man. They have no reason to believe that he's a good guy. And I cannot emphasize enough how common this is. It is to the point where it's shocking when we tell a man about an experience like that and they actually believe us. It shouldn't be shocking. This isn't just, like expecting every single man to believe a woman they have never met and know nothing about. These are the men who are close to us in our lives. I've lost several close friends whom I thought of as a little brother. I've lost them over this kind of thing because they were so dismissive of me, and I ended up being right, but they didn't care. They refused to trust me, which makes you wonder why they're even our friends to begin with. But it's such a slap in the face and is so insulting, is so frustrating that is just like the norm for us, is that we try to talk about our experiences. We're just constantly being gaslit, constantly being told that we're crazy, that we're overreacting, and we're never taken seriously.
What do we always say? Smash the patriarchy one day at a time for women everywhere and future women who are children right now but will be women later. Burn, motherfucker, burn like the witches before us. We are the daughters of the witches you couldn't burn. Shatter that glass ceiling, bitch! Love is love is love is love. One nation under God who is a woman. Sorry, not sorry.
Stitch this with the stupidest thing a man has ever mansplained to you.
My ex-boyfriend at the time tried to explain to me about birth control. And I found it to be hilarious considering that I was a pharmacy technician for 12 and a half years, been a nurse for the past 4, so about 16, 17 years of medical pharmacy experience. But his reason to explain to me why was because he wrote about a paper 20 years in college, so he knows all about birth control. And when I told him I do not need him because I have my own knowledge and my own experience, as well as working with incredible pharmacists, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, as well as to my own medical team, he got upset with me. That's why he's my ex.
Hey, bitch, that my left guaranteed there's a God.
I believe in a God, yes.
So God never wrong. God never wrong, right?
Yeah, that's like the whole point.
Good morning. If your pronouns are meow, meows, meow, self, I love you. You are so valid. Please comment below if those are your pronouns. I want to use them in a sentence. I want to respect you because pronouns can be fucking anything. They're a form of gender expression.
This is a really great question. For the record, I am not a non-binary person or a person that uses neo-pronouns. So if you are a person that does, please correct me if I'm wrong. If you don't know what neo-pronouns are basically pronouns that people use if they don't want to use he, him, she, her, or they, them. Basically custom pronouns that a person feels comfortable being addressed as. Neo-pronouns are totally fine, though there is a line to be drawn if the pronouns that you use are associated with something sexual. Like if you're gonna use pronouns like daddy or master, that is not okay in my book. But if you use pronouns that are more noun-like, such as kitty, bug self, I have no problem with that. But as a minor, I'm not going to address you as pronouns that could be considered sexualized if I were to ever use them. But yeah, if they aren't sexual, neopronouns are definitely okay to use. You are still valid in any way you decide to express your gender identity.
The gays just know how to do stuff, you know? I mean, they're survivors.
Ah, bro, you see that girl over there looking all cute and stuff? I want to date the living heck out of her and treat her like the independent woman that she is. Oh, bro, I feel you. If I got my hands on her, I'd be a supportive structure. I'd be a house of no judgment. Bros, if I got my hands on her, I'd be a dog, always by her side and keeping her safe. I'd be her emotional support animal.